Welcome back. Now today the Madras High Court ordered the removal of encroachments on the pavement of the busy NSE Bose Road near the Madras High Court. The order came in the sub-application filed by a social activist Traffic Ramasamy a few years ago, in which many orders were in fact passed by the Madras High Court earlier. But the orders were just not implemented. Mr. Ramasamy claims that there were hundreds of shops on the pavement of the street and still are present there, leading to a huge amount of confusion and congestion. The court has now ordered that the shops be removed in 2 weeks' time.
In the second bench, as per the orders of the Walking Committee Chairman on 2/10/2010, that NSE Bose Road, all occurs should be removed and nobody should be allowed to continue hawking in that area as per the Supreme Court direction.
Well, in reaction to this, here's what the Additional Commissioner of Police Traffic Department, Mr. Sanjay Arora, had to say in today's press conference.
We have revived the Facebook of Chennai City Traffic Police. One of the comments by one of the citizens on that, with regard to this payment encroachment, one of the citizens wrote that I will never buy a product from a shop which has encroached on the payment. That's his way of looking at it. So what I am saying is that it has to be done jointly. The shop owner has to come up with us, the normal citizen has to come with us, and then we have to enforce. Together we can make a greater impact, alone we will make a small impact.
Moving on to some more developments coming in from the court. The Madras High Court today dismissed a public interest litigation filed by S. Thanuskodi, who wanted the 3 jewellery boxes deposited by Pudukkottai Samsthanam. The petitioner claimed that the jewellery worth several crores went missing from the nationalised bank where it was deposited. However, one of the descendants of the Pudukkottai Raja family countered the allegations of the petitioner. Meanwhile, the Trichy district collector also filed a counter saying that the manager of the branch of the State Bank of India had informed her through a letter that the 3 boxes were safe. Accepting the version of the district collector on behalf of the state government and the bank's version about the safety of the deposited jewellery, the first bench dismissed that PIL. But this case of missing treasures had created a lot of controversy as it involved the former Trichy mayor, who is a descendant of the erstwhile royal dynasty.
One Thanuskodi filed public interest litigation before first bench of the Madras High Court, Honorable Madras High Court. He claimed the private property of Pudukkottai Samasthanam. He claimed and gave the direction to Government of India to acquire the property from the Pudukkottai Samasthanam, but the court denied his plea and also dismissed it. In between, the public interest litigation petitioner Thanuskodi make a vexatious allegation against my client Rani Rama Devi before this honorable court. We filed the valid counter affidavit and also the government side filed the counter affidavit. In the counter affidavit of the government, they say all sold boxes safely custody in the cantonment branch of State Bank is very correct. They filed the counter affidavit. Consider all counter affidavits and petition, the deep inquiry done by the first bench. Today itself, the full bench, first bench, dismissed the PIL filed by Thanuskodi.
Moving on to some more developments in the city of Chennai. In fact, the city will play host to a high-profile visitor tomorrow as the red carpets roll out for the big Hillary Clinton visit. A meeting between the Chief Minister, Ms. J.J. Lalita, and the visiting U.S. Secretary of State has been confirmed. In fact, this has been confirmed by the U.S. Consulate and the Chief Minister's office. Ms. Clinton is, in fact, visiting the state and will meet some of the students here and opinion makers in the city at the Anna Centenary Library tomorrow afternoon. But later in the evening, the top diplomat will also visit the Kalakshetra Foundation to gain a first-hand impression of the Indian classical art forms as well. And in news from the capital where she was today, India and the United States still have major sticking points on the nuclear deal. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, while reassuring India that the NSG restrictions on sensitive technology would not dilute India's waiver, linked that to the nuclear liability concerns that Washington has. At the joint press conference with S.M. Krishna, she said India should ratify an international convention this year on liability and ensure that India's domestic law complies with it. The problem is that while India is planning to ratify this convention, the Indian law is much tougher on suppliers, which the US is not happy with. But the officials here in India say the domestic law is compatible with the international treaty. Now, Ms. Clinton didn't mince any words when addressing the very recent Mumbai terror attacks, and here's what she had to say.
The emphasis we placed on counterterrorism and homeland security. That is obviously an issue that is first and foremost on all of our minds after the bombings in Mumbai last week. And again, let me convey on behalf of the United States our deep sympathy and our outrage to the people and government of India, and pledge our support to you in your fight, which is also our fight against terrorism and violent extremism.
Well, the top diplomat also spoke at length about Indo-Pak relationships and warned that the Pakistani safe havens will not be tolerated.
We are encouraged by the dialogue occurring between India and Pakistan. We do see Pakistan as a key ally in the fight against terrorism. We have made the point repeatedly to our Pakistani colleagues that terrorists threaten both of us. Terrorists have actually killed more Pakistanis in bombings of mosques and markets, in attacks on police stations and government buildings than Americans. And so we recognize that Pakistan must act on its own behalf first and foremost.
Up ahead on the headlines now, the UV spirits will not die down, says liquor baron Malia to a spoilsport budgie. What will stay is that much controversial ad.